Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Click Intelligence Notebook. This week I wanted to start to discuss in a bit more detail about what Matt Cutts actually said regarding guest blogging, and actually what you should be doing now in terms of link building and acquiring those natural links. So back in we're talking a week, sort of a week ago now, on 20th of January, Matt Cutts came out with his last email sort of message around guest blogging, and the fact that now it's not it's not going to help you rank better if you start if you just do guest blogging as a standalone link building technique. So in terms of actually what he meant, and again on 21st, I wrote a very nice little piece on our blog. So start to talk about reading in between the lines of actually what Matt Cutts is actually saying in terms of stick a fork in it. Guest blogging is done. Now, Matt Cutts, on his blog at the time gave some really good sort of examples exactly what he was talking about, opposed to when people outreach to these type of blogs, the type of emails they use. As you can see there, very simple, sort of mass, sort of written for mass as opposed to anyone in particular. And he goes on to talk about this is a clear violation of Google quality guidelines. So, and of course you want to build links to past page rank. So, what exactly was Matt Cutts talking about when he spoke about quote unquote guest blogging? So, for what we sort of understand and what we've seen through looking through our research, talking to other sort of people within our industry, is the fact that Matt Cutts and Google as a sort of wider group have gone and started looking at sites that are primarily just built for SEO. Okay, they're just being built for guest blogging. There's no real quality content on there. It's literally just being built for links. Okay, nothing more. It's not giving any users any sort of decent resource. It's literally just being built for SEO. So Google has been attacking networks. They obviously got lots of data. They can quite quickly work out patterns within backlink profile of people's backlink profiles. They can work out what is high quality links opposed to low quality links, and looking at this data, they can quite quickly work out where these sort of sites are. Now, over the last, let's say, week or so, the quite a lot of people, I believe, have been hit with manual penalties. None of our clients have been hit with manual penalties. Of course, we don't get involved in that sort of stuff. However, just chatting around the web, speaking to various people in the industry, they've seen some issues. Now, what the key thing is here is the fact that Google has gone ahead and devalued these sort of mass guest blogging sites. These, the sort of easiest and quickest way to work out if a site has been obviously devalued is if it's lost its page rank. In the case of the examples I've seen is the fact they have gone ahead and removed the sort of page rank of the ones that are obviously just for guest blogging and for SEO link building. So, also, just to mention a sort of patterns that Google will go and look at potentially. Don't go and get links from sites that say the word guest blog or write for us or words of or those effects within the header of a page, or even the sort of sidebar, or even the footer. Any mention of that, just stay well clear. Do not get involved in that type of stuff, because hey, Google is a pattern matching machine within their algorithm. They're going to understand quite quickly that the sites that have potentially guest blogging posts and content are going to be sites who are advertising guest blog posts on their sites. So stay well clear of those straight away. So this brings on to the fact of actually what should we be doing now in terms of link building. Okay, so guest blogging is finished, hypothetically, okay, fine, whatever. It's actually the low quality stuff is over. You can't do low quality guest blogging. It doesn't work. Your site's going to get sort of penalised. It's not worth the effort. You might as well spend the time getting, you know, 2 or 3 or even 5 decent links on a basis, opposed to going and building 30. There's no point. So quality is the best. You know, so let's look at history of sort of link building for SEO. Let's say, okay, so direct submission, done. You can't, you know, a few decent sort of links, fine. For sort of mass on the thousands, no point. It's going to get penalised, no point. Article submission, same sort of thing. Wouldn't even dabble in it right now, no point. Social bookmarking, yeah, okay, potentially a few here and there, not gonna affect you, but again, on mass, no point. Not going to sort of move the needle in terms of your rankings. Blog commenting, again, spam. Forum commenting, spam, again. So that's all done. Now, then we're obviously moving on to guest blogging, where it's not going to work if you're just targeting for sort of low quality sites. If a site mentions guest blogging anywhere within the site, in terms of navigation or even within their content. Also, start to look at bad IP neighbourhoods. Something I was looking at yesterday. I was looking at quite a few backlink profiles of sites that we're not working on, but I was aware that they were implementing certain strategies that were against Google guidelines. Had a quick look, and potentially, you know, I would say 65-70% of those links which fell into the guest blogging category were hosted in IPs that were in bad neighbourhoods. So I'm going to put a link on the bottom of our post in a little while, giving you a free plugin from Chrome. It sort of gives you a bit of diagnostics about where the IP and neighbourhood is as well, in terms of it's been listed on bad IP lists. So that sort of gives you a bit of help there in terms of when you're trying to pick potentially a site you want to try and target and get links from. So that's sort of where we are in terms of SEO and link building. So I guess what next? Where can we go from here? So I'm going to start to talk about real content marketing. Okay, you've heard it all before, gone to loads of sort of conferences, people's talking about, content marketing, we can get great links and get social sharing, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, you know, there is a bit in there, okay, and it's something that actually a lot of brands and people who have been doing cheap guest blogging have now got to move on to and start to take advantage of. Of course, it's not something that can be done cheaply. It's got to be something, you know, it has to be an integrated sort of marketing campaign. SEO can no longer be a siloed sort of marketing department. It's got to be integrated into your PR department, your general brand marketing department. Also, you know, sort of synced up with your offline stuff as also. Again, obviously, this works quite well if you've got a big brand, but if you've got, you know, if you're small, you know, one-man business, how the hell are you going to do this? So, of course, I started to explore how you potentially put this into your strategy. And actually, all it really means is, okay, for, you know, obviously bigger brands can implement the strategy I was talking about, but sort of smaller brands potentially just go after the sort of high quality blogs, okay? The ones that have got real social sort of influence, you know, they've got a large social following. You know, a very, very cheap strategy would be to, you know, target those sort of blogs, give them some really good sort of content, you know, potentially might be infographic, might be some, you know, some information about resource, what it might be. I'm not going to give you strategies this on this video, because obviously everything is more bespoke. But generally, that's where it's all going. Moving on, you know, other stuff that potentially works. Obviously, broken link building. You know, okay, the oldest trick in the book. It still works. Okay, it obviously it's time intensive, but if you're not doing it as part of your link building strategy, it's sort of seriously missing a trick. As I say, sort of infographic sort of seeding. Again, don't rely on one technique. You know, make sure you've got a various amount of techniques going, sort of link building techniques that you're using. Again, really, you know, this is really basic stuff. You know, real good. You know, make sure your best content is actually on your website. Make sure you're sharing this, of course, on social networks. People will pick it up. You know, if you follow sort of influential people will start following you back, seeing that you're doing some great sort of content, useful for user. Again, you know, it's all great stuff. And then, you know, potentially, you know, if you're doing a really, really good sort of, you know, you're doing some sort of survey or gathering data, present that data on your site as a sort of siloed piece of content on your site, and that will just literally just, you know, as a link bait will start to sort of generate some natural links. Again, it's something that's going to be, you know, over a course of a few months. Not going to be I can order 20 guest blog posts and it's done, and in next week I've got I can see some great rankings. Moving forward, it's more over, you know, a 3 to 6 month strategy opposed to just order loads of guest blog posts and get some rankings. So I guess that's generally where we are as an industry from my standpoint. We've got to move away from just building links for SEO. It's actually we're now going to be building, you know, sort of doing real marketing campaigns, which are to promote your brand. I hate saying that, but it is what Google wants. And think quality over quantity. Okay, guys. So that's what I'm going to say. That's, you know, I'll wrap it up there. Please, you know, comment on our blog post below within our comment section. It'd be great to get some feedback. I'll be sharing this on the usual areas, and I'll catch you on our next video, talking about many other things to do with SEO. Take care now.